Good morning and welcome to Valley Views. I'm your host, Glenn Edison. We're certainly glad to have you today, and we're thankful for BTC Fiber, our sponsor. Today we have with us Justin Howard. He's with the Soil Conservation District, and he covers, is it Bledsoe and Sequatchie County?
Yes, sir.
And he stays pretty busy. He stays on the road, and Justin, it's glad to have you today, and we really appreciate you being with us. And
Pleasure being here. Thank you very much for having me.
And I guess, first of all, I know this area has had soil conservation agents for years.
Yes, sir.
And it's not anything new. But for those who might not know what a soil conservation agent does, what are some of your responsibilities that you do for the citizens of the area?
So what I'm a federal agent that works through the United States Department of Agriculture with the agency called the Natural Resource Conservation Service. We used to be called Soil Conservation Service, but over the years they like changing names every once in a while. So they changed us to NRCS. And what we would do with NRCS is we work with landowners and we try to help them with their private properties and trying to improve the natural resource for that property. It could be done through lots of ways. It could be through row croppers that have, could be soybeans, corn, what have you. It could be people that have cattle operations or other livestock operations. We also work with forestry operations. We also work with people that are wildlife enthusiasts. So we have a big gamut of a lot of people that we work with. But what we do on these private properties is we try to improve the natural resources that are on their property, and also hopefully along the way make it where it's more possibly profitable for them and also better for what they're trying to do on the properties.
So in other words, if someone was planting crops, you'd maybe teach them or show them how to change crops every so often and change so that soil wouldn't.
Exactly. Good crop rotation improves, for soil fertility, and having crops where it rests and not having the same crop in there every time decreases pests, weed problems and stuff like that. It also does a lot for the carbon storage that you have there in your soil too. So those are things, in that situation, absolutely.
So really your job each day could change from one thing to the next.
Yes.
You never know what you're going to be doing.
And I love that about my job, because I could be up on top of the plateau one day working with somebody who wants to improve their property for woods, and maybe try to draw in some deer and turkey, improve that for their property, or maybe some quail or anything like that. Then I could be down in the valley the next day working with someone who has row crops or somebody who has cows, and they're trying to improve those operations. So it's a very wonderful agency that we work with, and we have several different ways we help these landowners. It could be through financial aid, or it could just be through technical aid as well.
Okay, that was one of my questions. Is how if a property owner had a situation come up or a problem come up, they could just call you and you could come out and check.
Yes, sir, that's exactly right. What they do is they'll call us at our office or on my cell phone. We'll come out to that property, look at their property, talk about what's going on with their operations, try to get a good feel on what the ins or out of their operation is, where they're at, where they're trying to get at, and then try to let them know what we can do for them to help them to get to that point. Whether it could be through financial assistance, where we can cost share them through the many programs that we have. For example, the Environmental Quality Incentive Program is a big program that we have here. We've brought in, I think, over the last couple of years that I've been here, over $1 million. Probably getting close to $2 million right now in EQIP for Bledsoe and Sequatchie County for these local farmers. So it's a huge help for this, not only for those farmers with these programs, but it's also a huge help for them, this county and the counties we represent, because that money gets spent in the county and it rotates throughout the commerce of this county.
So in other words, there's plenty of grants and opportunities out there. It's not just folks don't just have to have out of their pocket all the time.
No, we have cost share assistance in these programs where we go into these if they meet certain criteria for the programs, where we can cost share assistance on them. So take a cattle operation where we might go out there, we can help assist them with putting water facilities on their properties, where we can put waters in spots, locations. That way cattle don't have to travel as far to get water, and that way it increases their daily pounds gained, and they're getting cleaner water as well. And we would cost share with them on a cost share rate that's usually somewhere between 75 to 90% for those practices.
Oh, well, that's good. So they're not out of a whole lot of money.
Not out a whole lot of out-of-pocket expense at all, and they can do this work themselves too. So they don't have to do it to
Don't have to contract it out.
You can if you want to, but you don't have to. And we give them our technical assistance. We have practice standards that they go off of on these practices. That way we make sure the practice lasts for a long time with longevity, and it addresses the resource concern that we're trying to spend money in and justify taxpayer dollars for that. And these programs come through what is called the Farm Bill program. We use the Farm Bill money on this to help these local farmers.
Well, good. I know you probably get calls all the time. And what about you mentioned about the woods and maybe helping with trying to get deer and turkey and things. Do you get a lot of calls for that?
Oh, absolutely. This is an area that there's a whole lot of wildlife enthusiasts where people are trying to bring in, bigger deer, greater quality deer, trying to improve those different things. And that's a area where you focus not on their farm, but the area around it, because wildlife moves so much. And then also turkey populations, we help them with that, trying to improve those different things on that. That could be addressed through forested operations, trying to get more certain types of grass to grow a certain time of year when their nutrition drops down, like in the wintertime, with what would be called a cover crop. And then we could also do different things in the woods to improve, like oak generation and different things that are needed for those species that are really important for their nutrition and growth. So we do a lot of things like that through the same programs that we have available with the cattle farmers and row croppers and people that might be doing forested operations as well.
So you're not just working necessarily with farmers, you're also working with citizens who might own acreage.
Absolutely. The people we work with is irregardless of size of operation. You could have 1 acre and I can come out and work with you. We do stuff with people who have gardens and do something that's called high tunnels with them, which is a plastic hoop structure where they might be raising gardens underneath in their backyard. We could put these plastic hoop structures above them, extending out the seasons that they could have this production for these vegetables as they're growing, grow different vegetables at different times of the year, hit the market a little bit better on different times when production might be down and you don't have those vegetables readily available. Or so we don't go off of size. We help people who have problems, and it doesn't matter if they don't want financial assistance. We can give them technical assistance as well. Just going out and telling them our expertise and what we think would help address a problem that they might have or something that they can do a little bit better.
Oh, okay. So I'm sure, have you seen a lot of individuals who like you mentioned, the backyard gardens and so forth, with these above ground garden spots? Do you do a lot with that?
Oh yeah, we've had if I say through the last few years, we had about 6 or 7 of those funded in this area. So we've helped some people that have big operations to do these high tunnels, and we've also helped small operations to do these high tunnels. It's a really great program for people to do on those things where you can grow different things and have vegetables available in wintertime. You can have a crop rotation that's going and extend it out much further than what you ever could do with the weather that we have here, because that hoop structure and the plastic cover protects it from the weather and makes it a little bit better, higher temperature and more humid, where you can grow different types of vegetables.
Well, good. I know there are probably a lot of citizens like that.
Yeah, it's a wonderful practice, and it's a wonderful thing we can do with landowners and helping them, because it's a big practice. I think there's a lot of gardens that are growing around in this area.
Well, that's good. Then let's see what do you offer? One thing. Oops, I forgot to turn it off. Do you offer like information for you've kind of gone over this a little bit, but do you offer like pamphlets and booklets and things for people to?
Yeah, we got a lot of material that backs up what we do and why it's done. We got literature that's done at universities through grants that we do with them to improve this, through federal grants and stuff like that. There's a lot of things that we can do with people, and just give them information to say, here, this is something you can do, and that's what they train us for as well, to give that insight and to be here to help these landowners if they would like that as type of assistance. Another thing that we do on this, and the problem we started seeing a whole lot more in the Sequatchie Valley, is stream bank issues. We have a whole lot going on with Canoe the Sequatchie, but there's a lot of stream bank erosion that's going on in the Sequatchie, where you see eroded banks, and you can just see banks that don't have trees on it, and those banks are just bare soil. So what we can do is we can go in into those landowners and protect those banks with different riprap rock projects, to where it won't erode into their fields as much as well.
Well, that's good. So really, like I say, any given day, you're doing something different.
I could be doing construction one day and have a look at blueprints and working with the traco. Then the next day I could be up in the woods walking through and looking at nature. It's a really blessed job that I have and what I get to do.
It sounds like you really enjoy it.
I love it. I mean, I never knew about this career until I was in college, but now that I found it, you find a job that you love, you'll never work another day in your life.
Yeah, it sounds, so really you enjoy your every day.
Yes, and it's a good thing too, because not only we get to do these practices and I get to go work with all these different wonderful people, because farmers are the backbone of the community and they're wonderful people, but I get to see total operations change, and I get to see us start working with somebody, and we get to see the operation improve so much and the environment change so much and improve, and you can actually see it working. So that's a wonderful thing to see as well, actually see the fruits of what actually comes through your work.
Well, do you excuse me, do you ever with your work with the local farmers and landowners, do you ever are you able to tie that into maybe some corporations or companies that want to?
Yeah, we can work with corporations as well. Actually, over here, I think with Sequatchie Valley Electric, they have a pollinator habitat that we worked with them over here over at the industrial park, and we partnered with them in Quails Forever and helped them put that in. So we do things like that, but it's more technical assistance with them than it would be financial assistance. Because in order to qualify for our programs, you have to meet a certain amount of threshold of not making too much money every year. So that's where we would come in with agencies like that, or even cities. We work with cities to do partnerships with them, and like greenways and different things like we have in this community. And we talked with them and try to give them technical assistance. So that's a way that we work with businesses and corporations, is just through technical assistance and what would work best with what they're trying to achieve.
Oh, okay. Now, I know we mentioned the Greenway, and they're really working hard here in Sequatchie County,
yes,
and Bledsoe County.
Yes, sir.
And so that's going to be a big thing probably coming up that's going to take some of your time too, I guess.
Absolutely. I mean, we'll help in any way that we can. The Sequatchie Soil Conservation District, who we partner with here, is actually going to be adding 2 more cleanup stations to the Greenway here in Dunlap. So that will be great for any trash that people see. They can grab one of those pieces of trash, put it in a trash can, and help. Everybody has a part with keeping our resources beautiful and keeping everything clean that way.
Well, and I like the fact that you mentioned about the banks. Some that are eroding. How you help with that, because that's a hot button of mine too.
Yes.
I don't like the erosion.
I don't either, and it seems like it's a problem that's happened more in the last few years because we've had seasonal high rains. It seems like it hit us, in the wintertime more and more, and we had the Easter flood this year that was pretty bad, and it affected Marion County more so than Dunlap, but it hit some in Dunlap too. But we're there to help landowners in any way that we can with those technical assistance. If that's helping them with the stream bank, we'll do that. So it's really up to the landowner on all they want to do and all that we can help them with. We're here to help. We're helping people and help make the land a better place for every single one of us.
Well, I know the Sequatchie River has been a big issue for a lot of people because a lot of canoeing goes on,
yes, sir.
A lot of fishing.
Yes, sir.
And people want to keep it clean.
Yes, sir.
And
the good thing about Sequatchie, the Sequatchie part of Sequatchie County section of the Sequatchie River is it's pretty clean. If you study it on the TDEX maps that tell you how polluted the stream is, the Sequatchie River, for the size it is and everything, it's a pretty clean river. And I think that's done through wonderful practices of the landowners here who care about their environment. Hopefully it's due to some of our agency work and us trying to help people in this, keep cattle out of those streams. That's something we try to help them with and give them that alternative source of water and help them through those stream bank projects we're talking about as well.
Well, what are some of the, we talk about all the good things you do, what are some of the struggles you have with your program?
Well, right now, this year we had the Environmental Quality Incentive Program. In Bledsoe County, we had 24 people sign up, which is a lot of people, because those projects can range anywhere from 7,000 to somewhere up to 40, 50,000. So that's a lot of money that we can bring in. So the biggest thing is not trying to, in my personal opinion, is having enough to help everybody, because I think there's a great need. As beautiful this county is, as well managed this county is, there's still improvements we all can make on our operations. There's still things we all can do a little bit better. So the struggle that I see is having enough to go around. And having enough time to get to everybody, hopefully.
Right, because I know you stay busy.
Yes. So hopefully we'll as we increase the amount of services that we do here, hopefully we can build up this county to a big part of what we do with our programs in NRCS, and that might bring in some more employment opportunity through our agency.
Well, as you mentioned, you go all the way to the top of Cumberland Mountain, and then all the way down to the Marion County line. So
yes, sir.
That's a big area.
It's a big area to cover, and it's a diverse area. I think this is probably one of the most diverse counties there is in this state, because you have the plateau up on one side, which is very diverse, different types of soil up there. With the soils that they have, it's a little bit more sandy. Then you come down into this valley, and it's different here too. You have more clay, you have the Sequatchie River, and then you go up on the other side and you have Walden Ridge. So it's a very diverse county with a lot of different land uses, where in other counties throughout the state you just might have one land use where most people are doing row cropping or most people are doing cow operations, but this one has it all. So it's a very diverse and wonderful county to work with.
And there's a lot of forestry.
Yes, there is. That's a big thing that we do, is work with forestry as well. We work with those forestry operations, maybe it'd be pine production, and try to put them maybe into a short leaf pine, which is a little bit slower growing pine that actually has better lumber quality on it. We can also do cost sharing and removing invasive species, which is a huge problem in our area, such as tree of heaven and privet. We can help and control those, and we also can do some forest stand improvement, trying to get the best species in a hardwood that the landowner wants to have there, whether it be hardwood or whether it want to be limiting other types of soft mass trees that doesn't do as well as for production for lumber.
Well, that's another thing I was going to ask is, do you work with the lumber companies who come in and cut and then replant?
Yes, there's some that we work with, as long as they meet our requirements of not having too much money in their businesses. But yes, we've got several projects that we do through forestry in this area. We're doing some shortleaf pine initiative, which is a wonderful thing. Here in the county, we also do some controlled burns to make sure the burns don't break out into the woods, and you want to control the leaf litter that you have on your property.
Right.
So those are different things that we can do with landowners and forestry operation. We do have several people that we work with on that.
I know, since you mentioned controlled burns, it's just like out in California where they have all that foliage underneath.
Yes, it is.
And they don't get rid of it.
Yeah, their state doesn't do a real good job of addressing the burns, because there's a lot of things you can do to control these breakouts of burns that you see in these places. And if you do control burns with fire breaks and everything in the right time and right season, not in summertime when you have high everything going on, high humidity, high temperatures, where all you gotta do is throw out a match and it's like it's boom, it's an explosion. But if you control it and do it in this time of year, in the winter, early spring, those are controlled, and then you can control that leaf litter. It's a wonderful practice to control bad breakouts of even what we see like in Gatlinburg. So those are things that we can control and help landowners with on a private basis.
And really, we don't have that much of a problem with that around here.
No, we don't, because I think we have wonderful landowners that do a good job with that as well. What happened in Gatlinburg was kind of through was done through not good management there on the leaf litter, and it was needed to burn there for a long time. And we also have a little bit of production that helps with recycling of that leaf litter a little bit. And we have a lot of pine operations here too.
So you're really all things to all people type person.
Sometimes I got to be a jack of all trades and probably the master of none, but I try my best to help out everybody I can.
Well, that's good, because we all need that, and the county needs it, and because even with backyard stuff, that people are always needing to learn things, and
yes, sir.
Especially if they're just trying it and don't know a whole lot about it, but they want to try to grow their own little vegetables or whatever.
Absolutely, yeah. That's why we gotta be. We're gotta be willing to help out each other. Where we see one person struggle, we can help them out any way we can. That's just what we should do as good people. That's what we try to do. I love this county. It's a beautiful place. Look forward to putting some roots down here with me and my family and helping out this county as best as we can.
Well, good. And speaking of that, how can people get in contact with you if they need to?
Okay, our office is located in Pikeville. That's where our office is located, and we have a number there. It's 423-447-29 2532 is our number there. And I also have my personal cell phone for work, which is 423-277-0755. And people can call me on that anytime. We'll set up a field visit with them, come out and look at their operations like we were talking about earlier, helping them out in any way we can.
Well, that's good. And so really anybody that needs help can call you.
Yes, that's right.
Whether it's big or small.
Yeah, and with all the restrictions with COVID right now, you could come by the office in Pikeville, which is just right behind where the Pick and Catch is right now in town, where that old restaurant used to be on on the old state highway off of that. But that's where we're at. But with COVID restrictions, our office isn't open as right now. But they're welcome to call us anytime, and we'll come out and to them instead of making them come to us.
Oh, okay. Well, that's great. Was there anything else you'd like to add that we need to cover?
No, I can't tell you how much I appreciate this opportunity. I appreciate you and what you're doing here. I think it's a wonderful service that you do for our community.
Thank you.
And look forward to hopefully doing this more often. And just appreciate this very much.
Well, probably as when it gets closer to the spring and summer, we'll probably have some new things come up.
Wonderful, yeah, absolutely. That's when stuff starts getting kicking for farmers, and they start getting the crops in the ground and start dropping some calves in the on pasture fields. So absolutely, anytime.
Well, great. Well, Justin, we appreciate your time being
Yes,
with
sir.
us today, and folks, we appreciate watching. Remember, you can see us on BTC Fiber's YouTube page. That's where you can see us. Also on Channel 18 of the Bledsoe Television cable network. So until next time, this is Glenn Edison with Valley Views. Thank you.
Brought to you by Bledsoe Telephone Cooperative, your full-service telecommunications provider right here in the Sequatchie Valley.